We've got our first look at super macho guys and guys in drag.
But is Danny going far enough?
It's September 24th, and this is your Smart Doll News.
Happy Wednesday, everybody!
Yeah, I actually almost said it's Monday, September 24th, and I caught myself just in time.
Just in time. We've been traveling, going back and forth from where we grew up. Sorry for the late one this week, and we will do our best to keep moving on. And we have a, I don't know, we always end up talking for way too long anyway, but we have, like, you know, less insanity this week.
Yeah, this should be a fun
good. Some new drops. We do have, I will warn you, a very small shipping story, which will not take very long. Let's dive in. All right. First up,
Hair Girls on sale.
Which is great. They're almost down to the price of a classic doll.
Yep. This may not be the final price. They could go up or down at any time, and they are not being discontinued. This is just Danny's effort to pass along the savings he's getting from better production values, etc.
I feel like Danny, on every post and every page for like Pear or Coco, needs to put just a giant notice that says these dolls are not being discontinued. But I would say that, and then people will probably just not read the not part.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But it's going to be a message that people are going to constantly question every time price
Dolls
drops.
being discontinued go on the to be discontinued section.
Well, there is that. And there's been an ongoing theme with efficiency and being able to drive prices down.
Yeah, the boys have gone down too, so pretty cool.
We also have, and I did warn you, the one shipping story this week.
I love the Fed Up shirt.
So Danny, literally minutes after we streamed last week and went over, like, all the things we knew about the stuff with FedEx and everything like that, it continued to evolve. Danny posted that FedEx set a sudden requirement that everyone that Danny shipped to needed to have a FedEx account.
Right.
Now, we already had to set one up that one time we had the really big
order a few years ago.
So we would have been fine. But I mean, it's a whole bunch of, you got to set up paperwork, and, it's not like signing up for, a basic online account for, any website.
Yeah.
It takes some effort. But, so this is all having to do with the tariffs, of course, and all the extra processing and things like that, and them just being probably fed up with, like, the direct-to-consumer businesses coming into the United States, like Danny. But, like, 2 days later,
they got a solution.
Yeah, everything flipped back. So Danny actually upgraded the shipping. So he's paying more in shipping, but not passing the cost on to us.
Yeah. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. So he's using international priority service. That just basically means that in the processing of things, you get more priority, and you don't have to set up a FedEx account to receive stuff.
Yep. And so he's re-enabled FedEx, so now you still have the choice between FedEx and DHL.
Yeah. So, I mean, I forget who it was on Discord, but it was like, someone said, like, I'm literally waiting, for what was going to change as soon as the live stream was done last week.
Yeah, because it always happens.
So, thankfully, nothing's changed, except for like a day or so there. So, moving on to some new releases.
Okay, she looks really pretty in Milk.
This is Legion, dropping for the first time in Milk.
Yeah, she's very cute.
I mean, it's Legion. Legion, I mean, if I was probably going to be like, I need to have all of one doll, like, this is, like, she's so good.
Yeah. She's the new Dauntless in our mind she's the badass girl.
Well, I mean, that was always like Genesis, but even that, like Genesis to me, it was T all the way. There is, I don't know. I think it has to do with the strength of the face up, the really strong brows, the strong lashes. And I know there's a number of you out there who are definitely collecting all of
the legions. Yes.
The Legion of Legions. We also had this girl.
Sweet Little Eyes. She actually released.
In T.
Yep. People were saying, and I forget what the combo was, but people were saying she was actually a combo of some of the other characters.
I don't see it. I think they were talking about like the mouth or something, but I don't think so. I mean, it's similar. And we, you can pretty well, I think someone confirmed to us that like there is a bit of a line in there, like we were talking about last week. So she's very cute. Again, I like the strong features.
She's an interesting, like, if you like Fortitude, you'd probably like her. And I'm not saying just because of the freckles, it's very, very similar vibe.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's a less fierce version. It is sort of that, like, soft kind of look, but similar strong features as far as the brows and lashes go.
Naughty But Nice in T released.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember this on the cinnamon. I would have to look, but like it's interesting to see the sort of red, sort of blush colored eyeliner on the bottom and the top here.
Yeah, she's definitely a more dramatic eye. Because she's also got more color on the outside too. Like there's like a gray in there, I think, unless that's the way the light is hitting the black.
I think there is a gray and a black.
Yeah.
I believe so.
And she also has red going up in between her like lid line and her eyebrow.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So you have the bottom color here and the top color there, and it's the same. Well, maybe it's not quite the same, but it could be. Of the little crease there. Very cool. And then we had randomly
more Transcendence.
I think we saw this was, if you were watching the timeline on the website, some of the behind the scenes stuff, this was teased at some point, but
Warsheep was thrilled because he's been asking for Transcendence anime in Black Navy for like 8 months. I wanted her originally, and I would have loved to have had her, but I already have. I got the
semi-real.
The semi-real.
Yeah.
So I
for the project that the ill-fated project.
The project that has not made it out yet.
No, she's really cool. I had this like weird moment where I thought it was like Divergence, and I was like, not only did he drop like a new Black Navy character, but he made an anime Divergence, and then it took me a minute to connect the name properly. But and along with this, an announcement about future pricing for fantasy colors.
Yep. Keeping them at the same price, supposedly, as the natural colors.
So that's
huge.
A huge deal.
Yeah.
And apparently reflective of both, yes, enhancements in production that they've continued to be able to do, but also in the prioritization of like them knowing exactly the priority of things. They can more easily predict what they're going to make and make the sort of balancing choices. So prices have come down. That's, I mean, hopefully this means that we're going to see, I mean, we're already seeing like black navy coming back after green. You know what I mean? Like, I have this feeling like we're going to end up with these more random drops every now and then of colors coming back and then going away. It's like, I don't know, it's almost making everything a little more unpredictable, but at least you can feel comfort that there's a bigger chance for older colors to come back.
Right.
Of course, if the vinyl is gone and done with, then he's got a whole color matching thing that he's got to do or whatever. But like blue is continuing to need some work because you've got to get the color matching with the Evolve frame and the vinyl and everything matching the other ones. Yeah, this is the last one here is not a release, but an in development. We're moving on to
Anime North in coffee. Okay, this is the one that I wanted. Like when he said, "Who do you want to see in coffee?" My very first one was Anime North. And I think she looks amazing.
No, she does. She looks really good. And I feel like she reads much less alien-like. Like the M1 sculpt has this really sort of, just alien look because of the shape of the eyes.
Yeah. But it works really well in coffee.
Yeah. No, I like this.
Like even better than tea, in my opinion. And tea is fire. And I think this is even better.
I'm kind of torn between the two, right now. But I also have that sort of like tea had this sort of like Sophia Loren thing happening. Like it kind of has a specific vibe that I'm associating with it. Yeah, this is great. And we got a bunch of new wigs.
Announced today or yesterday?
I don't know. Danny only put it in like his reels, and that's it. It's not on the website. It's not on Twitter. Like nowhere else but a video on Instagram. So that's not annoying. But yeah, Sandy saw it, let me know about it, and I pulled out like the chunks so that we could talk about them here. Here's our first one. This is, I'm not sure what's new here in terms of color. Definitely the styling here, but we've seen similar things to this.
I think it might be. It looks like there might be highlights in there that are not in the normal brown.
Yeah, maybe.
But I could be wrong.
It's definitely fuller.
Yeah.
But again, that could just be styling in this particular way, like not too much with the cut, but it's hard to say what they've actually done with it there. And we've got...
That's a good color.
Yeah. You've got this sort of maybe dirty, somewhat ashy blonde, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Though this is nice.
Is the green sweater new? I think it is. The green sweater came out in purple and rust. I don't remember seeing it in green before.
We've seen pictures of it, though. I believe. I think we had pictures of it last week, but I'm not sure. All right. So this is number 2. Number 3.
Getting a little blonder.
Okay, so this is tough. This is reading blonde here. On my computer, this was reading almost like shifting into pink.
So like it could be like a rose gold.
It's really hard to tell. It definitely reads more blonde here. Rendless is saying strawberry blonde. Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm not seeing it right now as I'm looking at it. But yeah,
I still see it a little bit. I think it might be a bit of a rose gold tone.
Yeah, like I said, I very clearly thought this was pink when I was looking at it on the computer. But so that's a very nice color.
Cute bang style. I like this a lot with the turn under. The roll under is really cute.
What do you mean
the sides of the hair rolling under?
I don't like it.
No?
This, I mean, the bangs and everything like that. These short cuts. I mean, to me this exemplifies what I don't like, the challenges with doll scale hair, which is it doesn't fall the way normal hair does because it doesn't have the weight.
Right.
And so you end up like with these sort of like we forcibly curl them in. And you always end up with like these points,
and a big hole here.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I still like it, and I like the way the bangs fall.
So I mean, this is like you can kind of see it here. It's just doing a little weird stuff in the back. Again, to me, I think it's just the length, and that's why I tend to like. I don't know, either slightly shorter bobs or something like that, but it kind of like this for doll hair, this is kind of the awkward length, I feel like. But like if I cover up the holes that I can see in the back,
Yeah.
I like the overall, shape and everything.
Bangs. Long with bangs. Okay, so this is a big deal because when we were in Japan, Danny was saying he had kind of stopped doing long hair with bangs because there's a point on the side where you have long pieces, long wefts and short wefts, and they have to meet in such a way that there's no hole. And he really didn't like when it would separate. So they stopped doing a lot of long with bangs, but this is really cute.
Dee Dee says Danny should do a wig like Sandy's hair. Love your hair, Sandy.
Oh, thank you, Dee Dee.
Yeah, I wonder what's different. I'd be interested to know, like, have they just sort of figured out how to kind of deal with the issues that Danny didn't like here? And if so, how did they do it? I
mean, I don't know. And these colors look very, this looks very Leisure of Dolls influence. So I'm wondering if they talked to Leisure of Dolls about where they were getting their wigs from and what they were doing to style them.
Like in terms of like fiber?
Yeah. And,
gotcha.
and what they were doing to style them.
Yeah. And I think our last one. Yeah, I mean, this is essentially, I think, is the same cut, although
different color,
bit more messy. But
I like the pieces coming down over the chest, the long layers.
Yeah, and this solves. Like right now, because of the length, maybe or whatever, but this solves the issues that I have. If this were like shorter. It would be like, whoop, like it would just be all cutting unnaturally into her neck. But here, it's able to lay down further. Yeah, no, both of the bobs are not the bobs, but the ones with bangs are really, really cool. Which one's your favorite, Sandy?
That's
bring it back on.
Probably. That's hard to say. I mean, I love the shorter hair, but I think maybe the last one. because I love those. I just love those layers.
I think I could really like this one if he works out the the bottom part of the hair, but yeah, no, these
Yeah,
are
I
great.
mean that one's pretty too. But yeah, I like the last two. With
Um, all right, moving on to our main story here. I meant to have him like be sort of built in and not have him showing, but yeah, there's Macho Man Randy Savage for you. Oh yeah. Danny previewed the I don't know if this is like what we saw and like what he's been working on in the past. He's been working on his sort of Terminator, like the original like redesign of the men was gonna be this. And then he decided he could quickly adapt the old molds to the evolved frame, and that's where we're at currently. But people have been talking about wanting, as Danny described, a Superman-like, physique, and so he put this out for feedback. What? It's funny, he's covering up his packed lunch there, but there's really nothing to see or cover up. But what do we think?
I'm I'm not a muscle men kind of guy, so I'm kind of girl, so I I don't particularly care for it. But
Like the direction in general.
I don't have any problem with a guy with like some more like size up top and some abs. That's fine. The back is bothering me. You and I talked about it, and we were saying how it looks like he's flexing every single muscle at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's my overall takeaway is, we went bodybuilder, which means like you're building ridiculous muscles on muscles on muscles. And like it's like every muscle is accentuated all the time. Kanal, I think, sums it up. Are back muscles supposed to look like that?
It looks like he's supposed to have wings coming out of there.
Yeah, this like the shoulder piece, yes. The going down the side of the spine seems like too much. I'm sure Danny has reference.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. I know Danny may kind of go at the stylized thing. I mean, this is how he talks about the coloring and things like that. This is, going to be exaggerated and stylized, but I think this is too far.
I think a lot of times when you see the big guys in animes get angry and like ready to attack, they do get that. A lot of times they do get that strong muscle definition, like when there's no shirt on and stuff. So I could see going that way, but I don't know. I want less muscle on the legs showing. I want it to be smoother.
I think that was a big comment on Twitter. The thighs specifically. Some people described it as like it looks like
Flayed.
Yeah, it looks like just muscle. Like if you were to paint that red, it looks like, well, I won't say it looks like Slim Goodbody because it's way too much muscle for Slim Goodbody, but
right.
It does in terms of like, it looks like you're just seeing the muscles.
Yeah, it looks like he's been flayed.
Berserker says on Twitter, people said the thighs look like it needed more fat, and I agree. Too many muscles are way too defined. Back to, yeah. I mean, I think in general, like there needs to be, just like some thickening, like, and it essentially make, I don't know, even like make the model like a millimeter thicker, if that makes sense, outwardly. Mm-hmm. Now, like in general, what that means, and a millimeter maybe even be too much, but just to soften, all those things and kind of merge things a little bit. there is so much definition in the abs. I actually kind of think in the current guys, there's a little too much definition for the kind of overall look in terms of like the abs. But it feels like everything here, it feels like everything's been kind of inflated a bit. Like, and it doesn't quite seem as natural.
I mean, I think just giving us Abby from K-pop Demon Hunters would be fine. Just give us a guy who's a little more, taller, a little more broad up top. Obviously, we're not going to do taller, but more broad up top, and give us the abs.
I don't know if that's different enough from the current guy body, as far as like form. But I mean, all right. Well, I'll come back to this. Like, to me, that sort of in between state is something like Hugh Jackman as like at his most jacked as Wolverine,
and that's the lighting too. You put that photo in different lighting, he doesn't look like that.
Sure, absolutely, and without being like greased up.
Yeah,
but even here, the size, the overall size, like what Danny's got going is more along the lines of, Arnold Schwarzenegger, John Cena, The Rock. I mean, those are all like it's just much larger. Like for me, one of the examples here, I think, and maybe this is just the lighting, and again, to your point, the lighting on this model will look different when it's vinyl.
Yep. It will.
So that's something. But the pecs, and maybe it's just a trick of the light, but the pecs feel like they kind of bulge out at the top, like they're sort of strapped onto the chest, versus. I mean, it's hard to see, and it could just be the light, but the top here, the definition, like it ends up having, very clear definition, whereas you kind of almost want more blending from the top into the pec.
I think it's just like, what do people actually want? Do they want like warrior superhero, or do they want guy who goes to the gym?
I think. But even warrior superhero is not bodybuilder.
Right.
And again, I think when you look at it as, it feels to me, this may not be what happened, but if I were to think of the situation where if you're going off of pure reference, that would like lead to like the exaggeration of all of the, the elements, it would be like, you're going to look at bodybuilder pictures of them flexing the specific thing that you're modeling.
Okay, Marianne Barrett says lumberjack. Well, lumberjack has variants too. Like you could have a really muscly guy, but you can also have a dad bod guy that's a lumberjack. Like,
yeah, well, and I will say, like even stomach. You look at like like Macho Man Randy Savage there. If you look at The Rock, if you look at John Cena, their stomachs, they don't have like really well-defined abs. They're much more upper body. But again, everyone's different and it depends on what you're working out. So yes, this is very well defined, but is smaller. Like this
reminds me of there's a guy that used to be a bodybuilder. He's a British guy. His name's Ben Carpenter on Instagram. Who
isn't the guy you're talking about? In the past, who's talked about like body shaming and things like that.
Yeah, he debunks the fitness industry basically in terms of like the way people, he does commentary on the fitness industry, I should say, and diet and stuff, because he's a former bodybuilder who developed Crohn's disease. And, so has a different perspective on all of it now. But he actually did a reel where he showed himself, and he's still in really good shape. And he showed himself like flexing in a certain kind of light, and then showed himself doing the same thing. Like, so you could see what light and, like you said, like being oiled up and stuff does.
Yeah.
to what the body looks like, and it's just very, it's a deceptive industry in terms, and it's just not healthy. Carla commented about this, if he wasn't dehydrated, he wouldn't look like this either.
Yeah, I mean, and that is a common tactic. Like, you don't drink, the day before you're going to do one of those, shoots, and so everything, sort of contracts. So there's this. Somebody posted it, and Danny said it, and he mentioned like looking for a Superman-like physique. Here is Superman.
Yep.
And even here, you can see like not huge definition in the abs.
He's got a 6-pack.
Yeah.
It's just not like, I don't know. I don't know what words. It's not as incredibly defined.
Yeah. Now, not a great picture. And again, lighting, a lot of these things change stuff. But like,
I like his arms.
Yep. I don't have a picture of his back, but it's very definitely not the freaking like 6-inch like cables going down.
I look at him and I see exceptional real man. He works out, he eats right, he's, he takes care of himself, but he's not like dehydrating himself and getting all those cording and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's like you need to pull it back, which actually probably means pull it out, right? Like it just needs that little bit of layer softening, and I think it could work pretty well. Maybe again, I'd like to see some blending from the collarbone into the pecs. But it could also be the angle there, and the lighting.
Yeah, I like that his arms are less defined. I think that looks better.
I mean, I don't have a picture of his thighs, but that's like the thighs probably need the most softening, but they're also probably the thing that will soften the easiest because it's just, it's almost like interlocking, sort of muscles and like waves on it. So a little bit there will go a long way as well. Somebody did mention this, and the two comments that I saw that I think are worth talking about is the frame. Well, it's the frame. That's actually the main thing, and the joints and the height. And so that's, I'm sure Danny does not want to change the frame.
Yeah, someone just said, could a piece be added to the frame to make him taller than the girls?
Instantly, I think a bunch of people were thinking that. Like, you want silhouette differences and height differences.
If he makes a different frame, that's probably going to change costs. Because if he only has, right now he only has to worry about the Evolve frame. Yeah. And the same frame fits all the dolls.
Yep.
If he changes the height of the frame, now he's got to produce and keep multiple frames.
It's tough though. I mean, you put any of the guys next to the girls, likelihood is the girls are in heels. And they're now taller than the guys. Like, so there is, mind you, you can fix that if you're taking a picture. There's ways to deal with it, or, don't put them in heels, or also put the guys.
The fact that sometimes guys are shorter than their women when their women are wearing heels.
Sure, but it's all the guy dolls.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it is just, across the board. And when you are, like, when you're dealing with then the super muscular sort of guy that he's making here, like, wanting that height makes sense, wanting the overall frame to be larger. I think somebody mentioned, like, wider shoulders, please. I don't know if that's entirely necessary.
I don't think so. I think what they're seeing is the not liking the back piece, and the way that it's shaped.
Yeah, I mean, I can see on the front side maybe kind of wanting a little bit width, but it's hard to say. I mean, the back doesn't bother me nearly as much from the front, but yeah, I think this is. I think with some tweaks, which could be a really interesting thing. What do you think about the joints, like the elbows here? Do you feel like, still, I mean, we run into this issue to some extent with the Pair Girls. I think it's more exaggerated here.
It is very much more exaggerated here. I would be okay with a slimmer forearm.
Oh, I see what
to
you're
make
saying.
it look less like it goes in and out.
Yeah. I mean, the only other way to deal with that would be, like, I guess I would imagine, obviously this is really the only joint that probably matters. Dee says, my guys wear the CJ boots, which have a heel, and that helps with the height thing.
There's also perspective, put
Sure.
him her a little bit behind him, or
yeah, well, even just changing the position of the hips or bend knees a little bit. This is certainly dealable. Yeah. I'm trying to think, like, what would he have to change to, about the frame to make this work better? And it would be really, two pieces, because this joint is 2 pieces. He could make a larger ball. I don't know what that would do to the durability and strength of the piece, but then the upper shoulder piece, which is like 1 piece across here, from shoulder to shoulder and like onto the top of the spine. Of course, yes, making it taller would then also, well, I would guess that if he was gonna do something like widen the shoulder, then he would probably use that same piece to make him a little bit taller, that sort of thing. So I would say making frame adjustments to this would probably require a minimum of 4 pieces being redesigned and then swapped in and out for just this body.
I was thinking about this and thinking about how, like, the definition and stuff. Now, am I remembering correctly that we will lose some definition in the molds? Like this is the 3D printed version, and right. It has more definition and everything is deeper, and that it will get less deep when the molds are done.
You'll get shrinkage that happens. I forget what exactly that's gonna do here. But yeah, so all I can confidently say is that going from this to the actual master mold, and then, like, there will be some change. I don't know if that's gonna lose much definition. It will generally shrink it all around.
Yeah, so I think my general thing is losing some of the definition in the legs, smoothing them out a little bit.
Yeah.
And make the back less pronounced would be my major concerns. Yeah. You were talking about the elbow, and from the back, I don't really like the way the elbow looks, but it doesn't bother me from that front shot on the right.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is more a matter of where, I mean, there are a lot of things that you can accept when it's just, here's from this one angle, but I doubt that it's going to make so much of a difference that it would be worth the extra production costs and issues and complexities that would come with making another variant of the frame.
Now, I mean, we don't have a frame exposed handy. I don't think there's one. I think there's one in the dining room, but because that's where you keep your doll parts, is in your dining room.
That's where the bodies are buried.
Um, in the dining room. But I mean, it is possible that he could maybe make an optional part that you could buy and put on yourself to make the spine longer. But so much engineering went into that frame.
Yeah.
I'm having doubts that that would happen at least anytime soon.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't see this happening. You never know, but I think we've gained so much by being able to keep the, by the evolve frame being able to become, this. Now, yeah, I don't know. Like, I was thinking back to, like, what did the evolve frame get? Like, it wasn't, I don't think he was planning on redesigning the evolve frame. It was all about redesigning the model so it fit better with the frame. And in that regard, he discovered that the evolve frame actually enabled him to use the old, shelves. So I really don't think that's in the cards. But let's move on to some more Henry Cavill. Our drag queens
Going in the other direction now.
So this is the preview. This is the first, the first attempt at an actual drag queen face-up. I think. Am I crazy? Is this the G 15, the new boy sculpt?
I think it might be.
I feel like the shape is that. If it's not
with
that,
all of that makeup, it's kind of hard to tell.
If it's not that, Danny, you need to be using that. Like, because all in all, I think the more feminine the face is to begin with, the more the sculpt naturally looks feminine, the weirder the things that, drag makeup is designed to do, like, it becomes sort of redundant. And I think you end up with, sort of not going far enough.
Yeah, I think there's not enough stylized quality to this. I mean, honestly, he needs to he needs to think kabuki. Like, if he used the basic idea of his kabuki and, like, worked off of that with all of that stuff that lifts up and out with the strong brow, I mean, you could definitely make a case for that as a drag makeup.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about before. I mean, there's a whole style of drag that is very much inspired by kabuki. And yes, I think a lot with that, the kabuki, eyebrows that are, very swoopy and up and dramatic and also very raised up. There's a lot of distinction between the eyes and the eyebrows. I think I was reading, like, crease, cutting the crease is a big, thing to provide that break between the eye and the brows.
I like this makeup. I want to see a version of it on a girl. Because to me, it just looks like a glamour makeup.
Yeah. I think the most harsh thing that somebody said on Twitter was it looks like I did when I didn't know how to put makeup on.
Yeah.
And I feel like that may be going a bit too far, but I feel like that is maybe the lip is kind of doing that a bit more here. But all right, what's working here?
The brow's not bad. It could be more extreme. I like the brow. I like the quantity of lip. I'm not so crazy about the color.
Yeah.
The eye, like I said, I'd love to see it on a girl. This could be more of like a guy who does makeup, like like a Jeffree Star or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Who, and he even goes further than that. But like this could be more like a guy who does makeup rather than the art form that is drag.
Yeah, I mean, this reads as a smoky eye.
Yeah.
And, like, that to me is, like, the base layer for, the rest of it.
I think you're right about what sculpted is, I think, because you can actually see that jawline.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know if that's just lighting or if they did attempt some sort of contouring.
And that, I think, is the other big thing that we're missing here, is
The extreme contour.
extreme contouring. And if this is the guy sculpt, which I think it is, if this is the new one, then, you would often see contouring right on the jawline to soften it, and contouring, under, like, a real clear contouring to really make the cheeks stand out.
And when you do the contour, you need the highlight. So you have the dark, and then you've got to contrast it with some bright. And I think somebody shared an image of placing contour and highlight for drag on Twitter.
And there's a lot of good, like, I was looking up just like drag makeup tutorials and things like this. This is one of the images that I found, which is a nice, like, same person comparing going out makeup with drag makeup.
Yep.
And I feel like Danny's definitely leaned more to the left here with a smoky eye. Whereas so much contrast and definition and everything is amped on the right.
Yeah. I think thinking along the lines of throwing in some kabuki would probably get it there.
With, like, airbrushing.
Yeah.
It's like you almost need, like, Legion's eyes. Legion's eyes are a really good base eyelash for drag, I think. The problem is you're not getting, like, the highlights here.
And the thick liner that goes all the way into the corner. It's very thick. It's very pronounced. And, the lashes have to be super bold. And that brow is, like, painted in perfection.
Yeah. And, I think he could go higher with the brow. I think he can, like, obviously there's a lot of different, here's another shot.
That high line is wonderful. Again, that's kabuki. That's like that high,
like those shapes and
taking it out of the norm. Like okay, you need like almost an animal, like a cat eye, like a true cat eye, where it comes way up instead of just up a little bit and out.
Everything needs to get bigger, more exaggerated. And again, I think we talked a little bit about this when we I did my attempt at a mock-up. I would really like to see Danny find a way to bring some sort of shimmer into this somehow. I don't know how you pull this off without some, it's necessary. Okay, so it's not necessary here, but even there, like the white, like that's shimmer, in the makeup.
Yep, and underneath the brow.
Oh yeah,
is a very white highlight, if not a shimmer.
Danny could do that with just color, but getting into like this is a really, I think, a strong way to elevate that and add on to it.
Yeah, so if there's no actual brow, you've got to figure out how you're going to do that. And you said like the cut crease thing is basically building a lid.
Yeah.
But also all that brow has to move. It has to, like, to make the space on a doll, you've got to move that. You've got to move the eyebrow.
Yeah. The other thing is, again, it's like, what is the sculpt? Like, you want the sculpt, like, if you're going to have the same sculpt being used for drag and boys, just regular, masculine dolls, you want the contouring to actually work, like, because otherwise, why put the contouring on? It's going to look weird, So, like here you can see like the nose is actually like the face is being elongated and the nose is being thinned out. Like, there are very clear, like, I guess techniques is not what I'm looking for. Like tactics. That sounds like the same thing, but like the goals here of like, there are standard things that drag queens exaggerate in particular ways. And I think we're seeing Danny play with the softness and the airbrushing, and like, we're starting to see what we talked about of like, I don't think it's quite strong enough here as far as a hard line, but it's fading out like on the eyebrow. So we're seeing some interesting techniques coming in there.
The color of the lip is not quite right, but I like the gloss.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking that the lip may need to come a little bit fuller out.
And be more defined. The Cupid's bow is not.
I think
really
it is.
there.
I don't think you can see, because you can see just above that highlight. I think the lighting is kind of hiding it. But I had one more. Again, example of like, I mean, I'm not a fan of the style of lips in this particular makeup, but like
the brow. I mean, if you think about the fact that, like on a doll, all you have to do is repaint the brow that way, whereas like in drag, they either remove the brow or they use a glue stick and mat it down to nothing and then paint over it and paint a new brow in place.
Christina says, I like the other drag one they did better. And I'm assuming
the Bishonen.
Yeah, which
is not quite drag.
Yeah, I mean, that is more like, again, it's not drag queen.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do drag queen, he needs to kind of pick a style and commit.
Yeah.
And which is why I think like the kabuki route is a really good, like, I think route, or maybe you want to stay away from it, but I feel like that is a great sort of way to integrate culture, Japanese culture into it as well.
George is saying she needs the higher the hair, the closer to God type of wig. Maybe, but I think he could also get away with like braids pulled into like a higher ponytail.
Okay.
Or something like that. That would look really cool.
There's a lot. I think the notes from everyone is more, bigger.
Yeah, this is the first attempt is like baby drag queen that needs a drag mama.
Wait, are those actual cultural terms? Or are we just like? I feel like there's got to be an actual term for that. Somebody let me know.
I think drag mother, I think, is a thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
All in all, yeah. More contrast, more color, more drama. I'm really interested to see, Danny, I would love to see you go way too far. Like, this is always the note, like, the note, like in theater that you give to like the person who's just not coming out of their shell, and you're like, I will tell you when to pull back.
Yeah.
I think that I think that's what Danny needs to try, is just push it way beyond the comfort level and see what happens.
I mean, and this was a first attempt. This was, I can push it this far. Like, but we know from Kabuki that we can get a totally different type of stylized look. And I think that that is a good place to start.
Yeah, I mean, with similar, the similar shapes and strong shapes that really go up, use more real estate on the canvas, as it were. Yeah, very cool. I'm really happy that Danny is doing this, and I don't think we would have been, I don't know, even a year ago, I don't think we would have been seeing this level of like community engagement in terms of like putting stuff out there, getting feedback. Danny's putting the stuff out there, and it's kind of vulnerable. I mean, this is stuff that like Danny is entering into a space that is not his own.
Nobody else does this.
I mean,
none of the other doll makers do this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's
bigger
small,
ones anyway.
yeah, I'm sure there's smaller, doll artists that do, but yeah, this is, somebody put on there, like, why not just make the sculpts available for people to paint? And like, I think the answer to that is like, it is how everything works. Is you'll see chaos, you'll see blank heads come up in chaos. It would be kind of nice though if we got more, like, if something is going, here's an idea. What if with the, whatchamacallit, the priorities set and things kind of rotating in and out, what if we had some things where, Danny would be then just putting out, like, he's going to do a run of blank heads, actual, like, more selectable, buyable blank heads. And, like, I know everyone would want them, like, always available, but, like, where if this sort of, like, section, thing, like, boys aren't getting dropped for a while, then you might see, some option parts or some whatever, it's like, so there's kind of always something happening for certain things. I don't know what that means production wise, if that even makes any sense, but it would be cool if there was, maybe a little bit more rotation happening with some of the blanks and getting them out there. But I don't see that as like a, hey, don't bother doing this. You can always just give blanks out there. Like, I think having an actual produced doll, a character that is a drag queen, I think, now the only thing is Danny, I think you need to do both. I think you need to do the all right, this is bad, but like, you've got like, the vampire and the human version, like you've got the zombie and human, like
in drag and not in drag.
I think that would be very cool. But yeah. If you are enjoying this video, please hit the like button. If you're finding it entertaining, informative, whatever.
I still want to say hand pack 1. I don't know if it's still in hand pack 1 or not. I think it's like 3 or something.
Give it a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. And the spreading this to more people is always very helpful. Thank you, Wolf, for all the thumbs up. Yeah, if you also want to help support the channel or just get involved, you should definitely join our Discord. Hop over there at myladydisdain.com/discord and find all of the conversation happening about dolls every day. And that brings us to the time of the show where we do this.
We've been driving around, singing songs way too loud because we wanna. Picking up all our friends, fill up the car till it bends because we wanna. Yeah, we just wanna have fun. The trunk's full of wine. We're gonna stay up, have the time of our lives. The night is young, don't need anybody else. We came to party. just wanna dance on our own. We came to party all night long and sing along to every song. We don't need nobody's attention, don't need nobody.
All right. Welcome back, Katie and her dolls. You left at before the show started to go jump on your trampoline and came back right for the end of the show. So,
Yeah.
we missed you. What are you doing? Can we talk about the vampire Frenchie?
Oh, yeah. Where did that come from?
Why don't I have this? Yeah. Somebody needs to give me a link because it needs to happen. That was very cute. Lots of good pictures this week. And you, of course, can submit your own. Just look for the hashtag Smarty-Party channel on Discord. And for those of you who are like, I don't see half these channels, I'll maybe be working on that, but you can look for the channels and roles section in Discord, and you can actually go to all channels and choose like whatever channels you want to enable manually yourself.
I did notice a Warsheep in particular telling somebody when they joined, hey, you can go to this place and sign up for more stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole onboarding thing, which like you could do to like basically pick your interests and like enable the channels that you're interested in. I don't know. Maybe I'll put out a poll, but like it was like, hey, there's a lot of stuff here. Maybe it feels overwhelming, but I'm kind of starting to feel like maybe we should just turn everything back on and, because it's really easy to miss, and then you don't realize that, oh, there's a place for, people to publish their videos or sales or, stores. There's the whole photography section. There's the doll advice, there's a lot of stuff there that you could easily just miss. Yeah,
so for now, for those of you who are in the Discord, when you welcome and say hello to new members, mention the channels and roles thing if no one else has done it, so that they know that there's more to see than they're probably seeing. Danny posted on Twitter. What did he post?
Hey, I sent the following email out to folks who ordered the Staying Alive coffee last night. Please reply back if you want to keep your order as is with the hard grade body. BCC and everyone who placed an order for Staying Alive listed as... Okay, so he still had it listed as full soft body on the website.
Okay.
And they've transitioned it over to the hard body. So yeah, if you were somebody who ordered Staying Alive and coffee last night and you're expecting a full soft body, well, if you're, go ahead, just make sure you respond to Danny's email and let him know if you want it to be the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it bothers him that it passed through, and he says he's staring at his "it could be worse" T-shirt to calm down.
Yeah, public mistakes suck, especially when they actually impact your customers. That's like never a great feeling. But yeah, be on the lookout for that email if you are affected, and let Danny know what you want to do.
Cornflower Blue gave us where to look for
Groove Pangju Black Russian Pang. Okay.
Yeah, that just hit us because our dog's name was Pang.
Yeah. Thank you all for hanging out. We'll play next week by ear. Not sure exactly what's going on. Sandy may be traveling. I may be traveling. We've got, family and friends stuff, and, we'll see. But we'll do our best to be hanging out with you again next week. And I don't know, if it's a really light news week, maybe we skip, but we'll do our best to pop on and say hello.
Good luck with your surgery, Randall Sen. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.